Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of The Voices of Angst. I'm Christopher. And I was expecting people to follow my lead, but I guess not. So, Mikhail, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Mikhail.
I'm Liam, and today we are once again joined by our special guest, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber.
We're going to have to stop calling her a special guest if she appears on a regular basis.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see how many more times she shows up before we make any decisions. How's that sound, everybody?
I think Liam's afraid of commitment.
Isn't it
Shut up.
3 times in a row? And then...
Two's company, three's a crowd, what?
Something, I don't know.
Anyway, we're getting completely off topic. So, Liam, what's our topic of conversation this week?
Alright, so I was... Here's an interesting story for everybody. So I've been working on a script lately for an up-and-coming project that Amber and I will be working on. And I started to observe a pattern between the script I was writing and the one everybody else seems to be following. And that pattern is that my script was a lot more interesting to me than anything else I was seeing on television. So...
But is that because you were writing it?
Well, that could be it. But it could also be the fact that our chosen topic for the week, this week, is television programs. What everybody else is calling acceptable content and what people actually want to see. What the f*** went wrong there? Honestly, if we look at all the stuff that's out lately, you notice a distinct pattern in just how bad some of it is. Anybody else noticing that?
Mm-hmm. Same thing could be said.
We're a long ways away from the golden years of television.
Video games,
Awards shows?
movies, paintings.
Paintings?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not discussing paintings in this episode. We're discussing specifically television.
It's supposed to be open for everybody.
This.
So
I mean,
if
aspects of
people
art
want
have
to
just
look
gone
for a certain
downhill, haven't
TV
they?
show,
Mostly
or-
obnoxious more than anything. It's just quality of art has gone. No quality writing, no quality television, no quality pictures. For crying out loud, nobody takes good photographs anymore.
Hey now.
Except for you, I guess.
Ouch.
I'm not gonna be looking for a side here. I mean, you know that the quality of photographs taken lately has gone downhill.
I wouldn't
It depends on
necessarily
who's
say
photographing
that.
it.
Yeah.
What?
I mean-
what would you say, Mikhail?
Depends on who's photographing it. It depends. Like, there's certain criticisms amongst digital versus the old, like, film photography. I mean, you can argue those till the cows come home. But, like, what the reality is in that case is it's... What is it? It's the group of elitists are taking charge of what they define as high art, and then the things that, like, the mass pop culture art is crap also because it's not being invigorated intellectually. Because all the intellectuals are stuck in these little elite bubbles and don't want to break out. So the problem is, you could say, with the whole of our culture, including television, is that the academics and intellectuals are not having the balls to engage in pop culture, and pop culture is being so retarded as usual that it doesn't want to bring anything more deeper or intellectual or analytical or engaging in a social context in relation to whatever show it's doing.
I sort of feel like they basically don't even try anymore, though, Mikhail. Mostly what I've been noticing lately is just people just not even giving a what they're doing.
Was writing a paper on objects or something and talking about that, like how these academics, these 2 readings I was looking at, how they seem to want to get at something, but they don't have the balls or the ovaries to say, hey, this matters. Like, the everyday person needs to look at this and kind of think critically about, you know, in this case, television, you know.
I always find myself rather enjoying the fact that Mikhail always differentiates between male and female whenever he does his comparisons.
Well, I try to make it equal because, you know what, like, you know, the expression, like, well, you know, like, people on balls, it's like, well, you know, for women, the equivalent is people, well, the women don't have ovaries. They don't have that oomph to, like, step up to the plate and say, like, okay, this is what needs to happen, you know.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it.
I don't know. I'm trying to be with the 21st century because I'm so behind in the 19th century.
Okay.
You're in the 19th century? What?
Moving beyond Mikhail's problems
in romanticism, and I've kind of been stuck in that view. I think I'm stuck in the novalis. We need to change the world's idea.
Anyways, the real point I'm getting at with my decision, I'm on this talking. I mean, it's just let's take a look at it, right? I mean, we've got.
It all depends on what you constitute good television to be.
Mm-hmm. And I was
what do
saying
you
to Chris earlier in relation to your topic,
Chris? Do you
Liam.
qualify Fox News as good television?
Never.
If you like the Republican Party, then yes.
Okay, how about Jersey Shore? Can we all take a second and think about Jersey Shore? No, none of us can. None of us want to. None of us will. We all know this. We all agree on this.
I felt myself slowly. I felt my hope for humanity, my faith in that people will strive to do good and better themselves. I felt that part of me just. I was actually very pessimistic for a time being, and I'm not scapegoating Jersey Shore as the only thing. I think it was a lot of things because you always hear about Lady Gaga, or even right now we're hearing about Miley Cyrus, and it's just
we really don't need to go there.
Can I just make a point about both of those people? Lady Gaga tries to make it okay to be whoever the you are and doesn't really care what people have to say about her. So yeah, she does crazy things and sometimes it's just over the top and pointless and weird. But the point is she's just doing whatever the she wants and not caring what people say.
Very punk of her.
Well, I mean, there's merit in that, but I think the problem is the media fixate, and it's like you always hear about it, and that's what pisses me off. I don't give a shit about Lady Gaga. I don't care
Miley
to
Cyrus
hear
wouldn't get up
what
on
dress
stage and
she's
start
wearing.
twerking if people wouldn't show it and talk about it. She'd play good music because she actually is a talented singer.
I disagree with that statement.
Anyone can agree or disagree about whoever has talent or not. That's
she's doing pop music.
It's
that's
easy
the problem.
to sing
Okay.
in the conventions of pop music.
But okay, that comes down to it, right? Like
that's what sells.
Television is now just doing what'll sell. That's why reality television is such a big freaking deal.
Reality television is because it's cheap, mainly because it's cheap, and secondarily because it brings an audience in.
Yeah, there's no production value to reality television.
No, it's all security camera footage. It's not even
terrible.
They don't even try.
It's not even
honestly,
security camera footage. It's all staged over the top soap opera bullshit. And it's like these people are just it's like they're hired actors and they're purposely acting out this sheer stupidity. They're just improvising.
It's meant to look bad so that it'll look real. But really it's just what can we do without spending money?
Hey, we can put these people in a house and have them fight to the death.
Pretty much.
Ooh, can we please do that and make that a real thing? We would get rid of
I think you'll run into some legal issues there.
$3 million.
Well,
I would pay to watch that. I would watch that. Every episode, I would watch people kill each other.
This is where the internet comes in. If you were searching for something, you will find it eventually.
It's not a thing, unfortunately.
And you may get tracked down by the police, and then next thing you know, you have the cops on your door, depending on what content you're interested in viewing. But
people killing each other for my entertainment.
Yeah,
that's why I watch Spartacus.
Gladiators, I was gonna say that's a little twisted and old-fashioned there.
It made me feel really good.
That's disturbing.
Anyways, getting back on the topic though, the point being
Liam
that kind of stuff wouldn't sell.
Masculinity through violence. There's another.
Okay, I think Liam had a valid point, and I didn't hear it because Mikhail was talking. Say it again, Liam.
That wouldn't sell.
A house full of people killing each other?
That wouldn't sell.
I don't know about that. Have you seen some of the sports that are on TV?
Because that is
Look at how many films are all action films and they're explosions
and shouting match.
How many people
they don't actually kill each other.
millions of dollars on special effects action films.
But they have sold action films, Mikhail. That's
but there is a demographic for that kind of content. There is demographic for over-the-top blood and guts serial killer slasher films.
Here's the thing, I'm in those.
You're in those? You're into
I'm
making
into that
those?
sort of thing. I want to see more television content, but the point is that all of it lacks in story. Right?
Well, it even lacks in intellectual discussion. I mean, how come we don't have a movie that's about a couple and the guy raped the chick, and that's the whole film, and they're trying to deal with that and trying to psychologically get into each other's head and think, okay, why the did this guy do this? We don't have films doing that because it's making money off someone's exploitation. Well, on some level, it can be about money, but on some level, it's trying to get art as a way of reconciliating these issues that are still ongoing today. And I think, Liam, you are valid in saying that the content, like, it's crap today because it doesn't try to apply relevancy or even depth and trying to get at issues that are going on within our own culture today.
There are some shows out that do try to do that, but what I've noticed as a pattern is that they're all in Britain.
The BBC is one of the best entertainment providers in the world, in my opinion.
Yes, agreed.
And do you know why? Because they're publicly funded and they don't have to worry about ratings all the time, so they can take a risk on programming like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we need to be able to make that happen here.
I think we have PBS, don't we?
Well, PBS is in the States, and you'll notice that they re-air a lot of content from the BBC, and they also air a lot of programming that's unique in the United States. And again, although PBS does, to a certain extent, have to pander to the masses because they get donations, but a lot of the times the donations are from elderly people who actually like educational and programming that we find entertaining.
Please donate to us. It's like even like Kyle Sanderson, like he got me on. He said, like, when I was at one point rambling on about environmentalism on Facebook, he said, "Oh, well, why don't you try this dogwood thing?" And sure enough, I always get emails, and it's like, I think I'm on their site, and it's like, "Please donate," blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, you lose me at donations, Well,
nobody wants to make the donation. Nobody wants to do the gambling because they're all like, "Oh, the network will just cover it," and that's the problem. Like, Britain doesn't have networks like that. They have entirely public networks, and that makes a difference.
Well, no, they do. There are commercial networks in Britain, like ITV is a commercial network there. Channel 4, I think, is a commercial network. They may be a public service, though. But the thing is, they have to compete with the BBC, and that even puts the caliber of programming on the commercial networks to a higher level.
Yeah, ITV, I don't know, like, they had some pretty shitty writers for Coronation Street, which is a soap opera that my family kind of got into, and I just stopped watching the show after a while because the writing just got so terrible and blah, and it's like, and then I'm trying to think, okay, they're just doing a pattern here, and it's like, why the fuck am I even watching the show? And I mean, like, Liam, that's again reinforces your topic, like, the content is getting so shitty, it's creating viewers to go elsewhere, and the thing is
but when elsewhere is the status quo, then there's nowhere else to go.
Shows, less and less people investing in their television program because they're seeking it elsewhere. Because they're like, fine, I'll go on the internet, and then you get this word of mouth that can happen, and then people are watching torrenting shows from like the UK where they can't normally watch it in in the States or Canada, or they torrent old shows and watch those, like shows from the 70s and 60s, and so I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, I think, like, yeah, you're right, I mean, there's just, and then the people will kind of do what they want anyway, and they're just,
well, I kind of just wish everybody would switch over to the public broadcasting system that Britain's been using, but
oh god,
which actually brings up an interesting point.
To me when I was drunk.
Which actually brings up an interesting point, because there's no denying that TV is changing. And I firmly believe that in the next 10 years, most of our content is going to be distributed via the internet. Take a look at the Netflix model, for instance. And I think the only actual traditional TV stations left are going to be the public broadcasters.
That's true, actually. But, Amber, what did you bring up here?
Oh, okay. So I just pulled up a graph that shows basically movies in that were the top, like, box office hits in 1981, 1991, 2001, and 2011. And it shows in the blue, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, what do these colors mean?
Okay, the blue is new movies, like completely new. It's like somebody wrote it. It's just something they came up with. Hasn't been a sequel. It's the first of its kind. And then they have in the pink, there was sequels. There's Superman 2 and For Your Eyes Only. And so there's just 2 of them. And then I think it's adaptations or remakes is in the gray. And there's just one in 1981. And then it goes on, and there in 1991, one new movie, 3 sequels and 6 adaptations in the top 10. Is that 9? 10?
That's a
in the
really
top
good
10.
point.
Yeah, and so it basically shows how everything in 2011 at the top was either an adaptation or a sequel. So basically, its franchises are taking over, and that it's just to make money, as they'll keep going with that. Like, I was shopping for Halloween costumes the other day, and they had all the like Lone Ranger costumes and all the new like this movie that just came out, and they're basically just trying to wring as much money out of people for the movies that they're making rather than trying to come up with good content. They're trying to make a franchise that will make them money for years.
So much for public broadcasting,
and
right?
the same things being applied with music. Same things could be said about literature. Same things could be said about art.
You know, most
and
of
it's
the
just-
new like pop hip hop stuff is going to it's basically R&B songs that they've revamped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's less
There's a lot of
originality
I mean, to
and
an
more
extent,
just
you do have this
rehashing of
cycle
existing
going on
content.
within artistic temperament, and you know, and I mean, to an extent, you even have it, you know, where like people look back at history, make references or new spins on different things. But I think the problem is it's not intellectually incited. It's not intellectually invigorated to critically differentiate between just flubby, shallow, oh, we're trying to do blah, 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 versus actually having something that has like a sort of framework or has something that can support itself. It's like these TV shows today are like these kids who are simply chasing the lollipop. It's like they're just
Nobody wants to take a risk is the thing. They know there's easy money and nobody wants to take a risk.
Yeah, 1981 was all about gambles. It's taking risks, and it paid off, right? But then you look at all this newer stuff, and it's all like, yeah, nope, not anymore. No, I'm not gonna take the risk. You know, I can make money off of Planet of the Apes 13.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the monkeys finally realized that they're actually just monkeys, and this whole time it's been a dream.
It's all been a dream. Oh my god, I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, that is the worst. But that's another thing I want to touch on too. But I'm not there yet. But the thing is that, you know, the whole sagas franchise, whatever have you, it's like that's a safe bet. It's like, oh, I'm making another one of these movies. Well, I better make it according to the story. So I will go back and watch the entire original show. And now I will incite a cult following in which everybody will watch the original, and then they'll watch the new one, and they'll all compare it, and they'll say, oh, this guy did his research. He knows what he's doing. And then Disney will buy it.
Ooh.
In case anybody wasn't aware, Star Wars sold to Disney.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard
all
about
I
that, and I'm kind of
am
scared.
angry
I'm not
about
going to
it
watch
still.
the movies. I saw Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Christmas.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Well, it did
It
feel like
was
Christmas. It was
horrible.
so corny. It was like you felt like you were Batman, the animated series, and you know, it's like, oh wow,
Hey,
Robin,
hey,
oh,
hey,
watch the
Mikhail?
Wonderful Life. It's
Mikhail,
terrible.
You just insulted Batman.
Mikhail,
Ooh.
man, you don't even compare those two. There is
Okay,
nothing
let's
common.
diffuse
No,
the situation.
but, you know, like,
diffuse.
in the Christmas episode of the animated series of Batman, written by Paul Dini, that had Mark Hamill as the Joker and Kevin Crowe as Batman, you know, he makes, you know,
Kevin
Robin keeps
Conroy.
going on about this film that It's a Wonderful Life, and it's this really cheesy, corny movie, and that's exactly what Indiana Jones: Kingdom of the Crystal Skull felt like. It just felt so corny. It did feel like a Walt Disney movie. And then to turn out George Lucas, oh, he's going to sell out to Disney Star Wars. It's going to turn into this family crap shit. And I mean, the thing is, yes, we do have happy families, but we don't need to be reinforced of those ideals anymore.
Hey guys,
live in the
guess what I
50s.
just discovered?
What?
I can mute Mikhail. Okay, you're unmuted, Mikhail.
You. That's it. You'll lose 75% of this contribution, you know, to the podcast Voice of the Banks. If I get muted again, that's an ultimatum.
Dude, that's not fair.
I like that he
It
considers
is.
himself 75%. Am I part of this now? Or wait,
75 means he's contributing.
Wait,
everything.
He's saying that the rest of us share
Never mind. I was
25.
thinking he was 25. Never mind. I've got my math backwards.
Yeah, anyways, look, let's get to the real heart of this, though. Okay? Can television pull itself out of this, or is it actually just gone?
Well, no,
I think that
traditional
question,
television,
you're gonna be-
as we
that
know it,
question,
is
the answer to that
dying
question is
a
not gonna
slow
be-
death. It's being propped up right now by the cable companies and the satellite distributors, at least in North America here, who also own the internet infrastructure and basically give you a huge incentive to subscribe to cable or satellite along with your internet package. And so they give subscriber revenues to the TV channels and so on and so forth. But it's slowly dying, and the traditional model of TV will probably be dead in what I predict in the next 10 to maybe 20 years. And the only traditional TV channels that'll be left is going to be free-to-air stuff that's government-run, government-funded. But that's not to say that we're going to see a disappearance of content. We're just going to see it evolve and move to a more internet-based distribution model, streaming services like Netflix.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is Britain keeping the good stuff.
Well, and
And
PBS
us getting-
in America, and CBC here in Canada, and the ABC in Australia, and TV3 in New Zealand, and so on and so forth, CCTV China.
So wait, we're gonna get to keep some of it, or do you think it's all gonna be gone, Chris?
Well, I figure the government-funded stuff is still going to be around. So BBC, CBC, ABC, PBS, TV3,
So many
CCTV, ZBC, SABC.
Seriously, okay, man, I gotta ask this question.
Corporation.
Does anything not have a C in it?
No, because they all have
PBS.
Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes.
Except for PBS.
Public Broadcasting
take
System
that.
or Service.
All right. Well, I guess that
Oh, well,
answers the
just that.
question here. Really, are we like as a person who has to write scripts for movies and television? Should I just give up now?
No,
No,
you
because
should not give
it's
up.
still gonna.
Because
There's
the
still gonna be
reality
content
is-
production. It's just gonna be a different distribution model.
You think it'll be any better?
I'm hoping so.
See, like the thing is, Liam, is the situation. It's happened before. It's throughout history. You have to just I mean, you could even look at a culture where there's this limbo. I mean, you could say this is the enlightenment of television, where it's focusing on making money and profit. And what's happening gradually is you're kind of in this situation. You're a product of your time in that you recognize that something needs to change. And you know what? It's going to happen very gradually. It's like things age over time and they evolve. And the evolution so far is when something is not going to work, eventually this system of profit and money, people are going to catch on and they're going to hate it. Or you could say television is going to die or something. And this is me being hopeful, I don't know, I try to be an idealist. And the thing is it's gonna change.
You think
But
the
it's gonna be
public's gonna try and
gradual,
pull
and
this
you
out?
have to
pull it
kind
out
of be
this
part of the
nosedive?
change. This is kind of me preaching to you on some level. But the thing is it will change, but you can't just sit there like the Disney wants to teach you. Oh, if you wish hard enough, it'll come true. No, you have to work for it.
No, you
and that's
have to
reality.
work
A lot
for
of
it,
people are gonna have to
obviously,
work
like-
for it.
I guess what I'm really getting at is that because I'm watching this happen like a slow motion train wreck, and I'm starting to wonder if
You're
I
in the
wasted
train wreck. You are in the train, and it is going, and you have to, I mean, whether you want to get together with a bunch of people or or just march on your own straight to the conductor's room or whoever the hell is in charge of the train or whatever, and take charge of it and say, no, this is where it doesn't need to go in. And I mean, that's the thing, is we don't like to think of ourselves as all the potential of having leaders, but you know what, there's a cause that we believe in strong enough. We need to step up to the plate and friggin' do it. I said friggin', not any coarse language.
And if you want to bring your content to a traditional TV distribution outlet, there's always iNet TV, which is going to launch sometime in early 2014.
Don't worry,
Yay!
Chris. Don't
You'll be
worry.
getting
We'll
some stuff from
we'll
us.
supply some footage and some stuff for that. I guess what I'm really getting at with this, guys, is can we all agree that TV content has gone to shit?
Currently,
No,
it has
there's still good
decreased.
content though.
So what is
Yeah,
it?
there is still content.
But
But
that's
There-
the-
okay,
the
actually,
question
here's
here, 'cause of
actually
how
a
much
really
crap
good
I've seen
point.
Lately, I don't see enough of the good shows getting kept on to television. They all
Here's
get
a
dropped.
good point.
yeah,
Is
you do have a
the
point.
number the number of channels is increased hugely. Like back in the day, there was 3 networks in the States. There was ABC, NBC, CBS. Then Fox came up, so there was 4 networks. Now they're competing with cable channels like HBO and so forth that are pushing out their own original series. AMC is another one. So the number of channels has gone up, and they're all competing with each other. So they're all making cheap programming throughout most of their schedule, and then they're pushing out the actual really good stuff less at fewer and fewer times in the day. But in terms of the amount of good content, there's still the same amount or more. It's just spread out over 50 channels instead of 3.
I guess I kind of like that system better. All right. Well, I guess it's sort of at this point that we can probably segue into Song of the Week, eh?
Yeah, but I just want to say, Liam, like, I mean, you are a product of your time, and it's up to you to decide, okay, if you want to change the system, go for it. Like, I mean, that's the thing is we as people, humans, we have the potential to change it. We need to step up to the plate and friggin' do it. And that's where it begins with the viewers.
Anyway, do we want to segue into Song of the Week here?
All right. Do.
Okay, well, I think I'll go first here. And Liam, talking about the BBC, you've inspired me to revise my choice for Song of the Week. So I was going to choose Mozart's Green Sleeves, but instead I'm going to go with the BBC World News theme composed by David Lowe.
Ooh.
Well, I guess I'll go next here. So this week I was starting to try and learn some crazy music on my guitar. I've been struggling a little bit to try and learn something ridiculously awesome. So my song choice for this week is actually by an Italian symphonic power metal group called Rhapsody, and my song is Emerald Sword by Rhapsody.
Okay, it's between me and Amber. Amber, do you want to go or should I?
I can go.
Perfect.
Well, I was debating picking my coworker's least favorite song as in honor of his complaints, but it's sort of a terrible song, so I won't go with that.
And we all appreciate it.
I guess I'll go with Astronaut by the Mother Tongue Band because I'm pretty excited for the upcoming music video for that song.
Q-tip's gone too far. You're forgetting who you are. Hope your hands could finally see. Guide your legs tonight. I'm
Okay. As for me, I've decided to go with something probably well, classical, and it's all I want to say is, since I'm in the mood of just being brutally honest, well, whatever. Anyway, I'd say this is the classical equivalent of unbridled, full-on passionate sex, and that is the Partita number 3 in E minor by Johann Bach.
Okay, so there you have the picks for Song of the Week. Don't vote on them because we're not doing that anymore.
No, we took that vote system away. But if you'd like to give them all a listen, we're going to try and make sure we provide at least a YouTube link. If not, the song title and name is minimum. But, you got the snippets. Look up the rest of the songs. Give it a listen. See which ones you like. Anyways, thank you very much for joining us this week. We'll be back again next week, hopefully with something a little more interesting. Or if you found this
I don't
one
know, I think
interesting,
this one was pretty interesting.
I like this one, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyways, if you're looking forward to more Mikhail rants, Chris figuring out he can do crazy things on the computer, and myself talking away for the incitement of Mikhail, and maybe Amber joining us again. We'll see if she's available. Tune in next week for yet another exciting episode of The Voices of Angst.
Hi, and goodbye.